Dheeraj, yeah, continue, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
The impurity defect.
Yeah, that was in solid state. As we started the solution, I would like to get a picture of what we discuss in solutions.
Okay, ma'am.
What is a solution? How you will define a solution perfectly? How can you define what a solution is? Dheeraj, don't run away, please. Dheeraj, are you there? Yes, Prasanna, how you will give the summary?
Ma'am, we learned the definition of solution, that is homogeneous mixtures of two or more substances in a single phase. And yeah, then we discussed the examples. That is brass, a mixture of copper and zinc, different from German silver.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we just had a discussion, and did we discuss about binary and trinary solutions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what is a binary solution?
Ma'am, like binary solution is a solution which has like two components, and the two components are a solute and a solvent.
Very good. That means a solution can be made of any number of components, but if it is made of two components, we call it as binary solution. And most of the example that we're going to discuss throughout our discussion, like for this entire chapter, will be coming under binary solution. So binary solution has been divided at two parts, that is solute and solvent, and that is in terms of their quantity present. That means you can say solute is the one which is in lesser quantity and solvent is the one with comparatively larger quantity. So that is what you can see over here. Solute is a part of a solution that is being dissolved, and usually it is in the lesser amount. Similarly, solvent is a part of a solution that dissolves the solute, usually the greater amount, the one which is in greater amount. And solute and solvent gives you solution. Again, I'm telling you it's a binary solution. So we'll be simply using the word solution, but it's understood that we are talking about binary, as most of our examples are belonging to this classification. So solutions can be classified. The first point in your syllabus is about classification of the solution based on the phase of the solute and solvent. As I said earlier, we are basically looking for binary solution. So based on this phase of a solute and solvent, you can classify the solution into 9 different categories. And along with the example, it's been given in the table. So if you see that the first 3 cases is like when you're taking the gas as a solute, that means the quantity of the gas is less compared to the solvent. That's what being a solute mean. That is the one which is got less quantity compared to the solvent, which is in greater amount, right? So first case, when both solute and solvent is in the gaseous state, then you can take an example of air. Basically, air, even though it's not a binary mixture, it's a multinary mixture, but still you can see it's a mixing of homogeneous mixing of different types of gases like oxygen, nitrogen, helium, neon, argon, carbon dioxide, H2O, like that. There are many different types of gas molecules that has been homogeneously distributed throughout. So that is a one example where both solute and solvent are in a gaseous state. So that is the first type of solution. That is, air can be considered as a solution. It's a solution, homogeneous mixture of different gas molecule. Both solute and solvents are in the gaseous state. Then if you look in the second example, gas and liquid, that means you can take all the aerated water or carbonated drinks where you can see the liquid is more in quantity and the gas particles or the gas molecules will be passed through it so that it get dissolved. So that's why all the carbonated and aerated drinks can be taken an example of a solution in which the solute is in gaseous state and solvent is in the liquid state. All these examples are connecting, like you can easily connect with it. So I'm not going into the detail, but if at any point, if you're finding it difficulty in understanding or you need more clarity, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just move it as just in expecting that you are understanding or you have already some idea about it. The third type of solution is when you have gas is a solid solute and solvent is in a solid state. This is also we have already discussed an example. This is an example of catalyst that we used in organic. How many of you remember about this one? Hydrogen and palladium. For what purpose it used?
Hydrogenation.
Hydrogenation of
Alkenes.
Alkenes to alkane. Yeah, that means you are adding hydrogen and that reaction is catalyzed by catalysts like platinum, palladium or nickel. So you can see on the surface of the metal, such metals, the gas hydrogen in the gaseous state will be adsorbed and it will be distributed homogeneously. So that is on the surface. That is what it is taken as an example in hydrogen in palladium, where palladium is mean, that is more in amount compared to hydrogen. So that is the first three cases where solute is in gaseous state and with its combination with the other two types of liquid and solid state.
Sorry to interrupt you. Ma'am, after you upload the drone, do you have to draw this table?
I didn't get you.
Do you have to draw the table?
Draw the table. Yeah, actually, it's good. It's there in your textbook as well. You can refer it if you want, but you can just write it in your note because that's the first topic in your syllabus. So it's important. Fourth type, fourth, 5 and 6th. 4, 5 and 6, you can see it's the liquid is taken as a solute that is less in quantity. So the first type is where liquid solute and liquid solvent, that is both solute and solvent is in liquid state. And that is what you can find example as alcohol in water, benzene in toluene, where you can see that both the liquids are completely miscible. But if you take oil and water, that is not a solution because it's not distributed homogeneously. They will not mix it up. They remains in two different layers. So such kind of liquid things can't be considered as a solution. It is solution when the components are homogeneously mixed throughout the solution. So that is what first case, liquid and liquid combination, where examples can be any two liquids which are completely miscible. They should mix up to exist as one substance. So that is the case in alcohol in water and benzene in toluene. So that is also a very known example. The fifth example is when a liquid is dissolved in a solid. That is the case when you are talking about zinc amalgam. Zinc amalgam is again another type of catalyst where it's a combination of zinc and mercury. Amalgam is the term where whenever you find amalgam, it is related to mercury. Keep in your mind that amalgam means that is the term used when mercury is part of it. So zinc amalgam is a type of a catalyst which is a combination of zinc and mercury. Both are metal, but the problem is that at room temperature, zinc is a solid and amalgam, that is mercury, is in liquid state. So where you can see this is a combination of a liquid, that is amalgam, that is mercury in zinc. So that is an example for a liquid solute in a solvent in solid state. Sixth example, liquid in gas. That means here it should be the other way. Because solute should be less in quantity. So water should be less than that of the amount of carbon dioxide. Should be water present in CO2 gas. That is what should be more ideal rather than writing CO2 dissolved in water. You can just this part you can rewrite it as water present in CO2 gas. That means it will be like gas should be more, that is solvent, than in the liquid state. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, last three categories where you can find solid is the solute. Okay, solute is in the solid state and the different combination. Solid and liquid, the seventh one, this is a very non and the important type of solution. That is what whenever we get a word solution, automatically we know that a solid getting dissolved in water or solid get dissolved in any liquid. That is what the complete picture of a solution, what gives us like a solid and liquid. But that is only one type of a solution where a solute is in solid state and solvent is in liquid state. You can give enough number of examples like sugar and water, salt and water, many are there. You can put all of them, but that is one of the common type of solution that we see every day. Eighth example, that is a solid in a gas, that is smoke. What is a smoke? What is smoke? Vishesh, are you there, Vishesh? What is smoke?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
What is smoke? How it is formed?
Ma'am, with a solid and gas.
Yeah, actually smoke is when you're burning a substance, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am,
so, yeah.
ma'am, can we tell smoke as unburnt carbon?
I didn't get you.
Ma'am, we get smoke due to the unburnt carbon when there's lack of oxygen. Yeah.
No, smoky, otherwise also you will get, even if it's in complete oxidation, whatever, but it is basically something where solid particles are dispersed in a gaseous state. That means when you burn something, it's along with the gas formation, some of the residual solid also will get mixed up homogeneously along with the gas. It's not a completely gaseous thing. When you analyze it closely, you can see there will be minute solid particles also dispersed throughout the mix, like throughout the gas. So that is why smoke is considered as a solution, or it can be a homogeneous mixture with solid particle which is very, very minute. Don't think that it will be very bigger. It will not be very much visible also. It will be so small, very minute, but that small minute particles are dispersed in a gaseous state. That is what it's considered as a mix of solid and gas. Otherwise, we normally smoke mean we automatically think that it's a gas. But smoke is not completely made up of a gaseous substances. It is a mix of gas with some solid particle homogeneously distributed. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And the last and the final example that we already discussed yesterday, where both solute and solvents are in the solid state, and the example what we discussed was about different types of alloys. If you take any example like brass, bronze or steel, and if you take alloys of tungsten and all that is used in as a filament or something like that. If you take any different combination of the metal, you can see one metal will be more in than the compared to other one, but both of them are in a solid state. So that is being considered as a solid solution. So alloys are also known as solid solution, where the homogeneously two or more metals are mixed up together. That is what a alloy is. So this is how you can classify the solutions into different based on the state or the phase of solute and solvent. There are 9 different categories are there based on the state of solute and solvent, and you can give many examples. Some are described here and you can find more. Okay, give me one example, like you know about toothpaste, right? Toothpaste is which category among this?
Ma'am, is it solid and liquid or liquid and solid?
Which one? What do you think will be more in quantity?
Liquid, I guess. Liquid and.
So it will be solid and liquid category, right?
Oh.
And it is homogeneously mixed. You cannot see that it's only one sided more than the other, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Other one, okay, let me ask about paint. Paint. What about paint, the emulsion paints?
I said liquid and liquid.
Liquid and liquid. Any other category?
Solid and liquid.
I'm solid,
solid
liquid.
liquid.
Yes, I'm solid.
Yeah, paint is actually coming in emulsions, you know, emulsion paints and all. It's actually pigment or something in the liquid, two liquid combinations. But here the difference is that they may not be completely soluble. Like that is also that some pigments may not be completely soluble with other, but there are different types of paints available. Based on that, it may fall in different category, but it's basically liquid emulsions. That's what we used to say. Emulsions is like liquid combination. Like that, you can find many examples that you are using, like that you are familiar with in everyday situation, and you can put it in different category. So get more examples from where, like whenever you see a solution or a mixer, just analyze whether it can be put it into any of these 9 categories. So that is the first part of this chapter solution. The second part is like you need to know the different way of expressing the concentration of solution, because we discussed what is the solution, what are the different types of solution possible. Now, in order to compare different solutions, say example, you can prepare a glass of sugar solution by mixing 1 spoon in per 1 glass, or maybe 10 spoons in 1 glass. So that means the amount of solute and the volume of the solution or the amount of the solvent that you've taken will be affecting the concentration. So there are different way of expressing the concentration, and all of them we are already discussed in grade 11, but it's going to help you this year also. So we'll just go through it just to as a recap, and we'll do 2 or 3 questions based on this before we start looking into the grade 12 topic. So there are 5, I think it's been 7 different examples has been discussed in grade 11. Mass percentage, volume percentage, mass by volume percentage, parts per million, mole fraction, molarity, and molality. So if you look in the first 4, they are somewhat related, and you can easily connect it and learn and understand. What is a mass percentage? How we will express mass percentage? What is mass percentage? Anybody?
Ma'am, like the mass of a solute, or the mass of a solute divided by the mass of a solution.
Yeah, mass percentage mean both the masses used. You are using the mass of a solute and also the mass of the solution, and is expressed in 100 percentage. That is what mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. That is what mass percentage. Percentage,
Ma'am,
W bar, W mean mass bar, like W is weight, that is what mass is, divided by mass. That is why they used to write percentage in the bracket W bar, W mean, the meaning is mass divided by mass. Mass of a solute divided by mass of solution.
can you go to the previous slide?
I think all this is repeated in the next slide, so it's better you write along with the equation rather than just writing it first and then again writing along with the equation. Write this way, different way of expressing concentration of the solution. First one is mass percentage and write the equation. Second one is volume percentage. Here the only difference is that instead of mass, you are using the volume. Volume of solution, I mean, here you need to write volume of solute. Oh my God, it's okay. Write volume of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. That is volume percentage. Then the third example is again related to it. Percentage by mass by volume. Mass by volume percentage mean mass of solute and volume of solution. Okay, that is a combination of first and second category. So first one is completely mass. That is why mass percentage, mass of solute by mass of solution. Volume percentage mean volume of solute by volume of solution. Both numerator and denominator were same for both first two category. Third one is mass by volume percentage mean mass of solute divided by volume of solution. And this is expressed in percentage. That is why everything is multiplied with 100.
What's the last one?
Last one is parts per million.
No, ma'am, sorry, I'm in the third one.
Third one is mass by volume percentage.
But what is the percentage? Like, what is the name? Like, first is mass percentage, then volume percentage, then?
Third one is mass by volume percentage.
Come on.
Mass by volume, that's the name. And the fourth one, again, it is related to the first three category. Only thing is that it is not in percentage, it is in million, parts per million, ppm. This is one of a important, what you can say, unit when you're dealing with pollution in air, etc. That means to specify the small quantity in a larger volume. So example, if you want to say analyze the amount of polluting gas in a air, we know that the quantity of air is very much big compared to the quantity of pollutants present in it. So that means in such a way to express the presence of a small quantity in a larger volume, we use ppm. So when you're next time when you're reading a newspaper and when you're looking for the news related to some environmental issue and they talk about presence of this gas or this polluting substance and all these things, they use the unit ppm. They show it in ppm, parts per million. And especially the contamination in sea, that also is measured in ppm, because you know that the volume of the actual substance is very much and you are measuring the less amount of solute in it. So such cases only we use ppm. We don't use it for every, like the solution which we deal in the lab or in different real life cases. Okay, so parts per million is used especially to deal or express the concentration of a substance or solute in a larger solution. That means the air or sea water, something like a pond, like the volume of the solution is somewhat very bigger. That's what they use parts per million. That is, instead of percent, it is per million. That is 10 raised to 6. So you can see mass of solute divided by mass of solution into million. That is 10 raised to 6. All these things has been discussed in grade 11 in detail along with the equation, and we have done the numericals based on it. So these are the first 4 and 3 more is left in concentration. Can I change the slide?
1 minute, ma'am.
What is mole fraction? What is mole fraction? Or do you think is mole fraction?
Is it the number of
Number of?
Number of constituent moles of a component divided by the total number of moles in that.
Yeah, because as I said, we are basically looking for binary components. So just example, A and B are mixed up. So if you want to find the mole fraction of A, then the equation will be mole fraction of A divided by total number of moles by A and B. Say example, if you're treating with a trinary solution A, B and C, 3 components are there, then the mole fraction of A will be equal to number of moles of A divided by number of moles of A plus number of moles of B plus number of moles of C. Yeah, so this is that means number of moles of a particular solute or a component divided by the total number of moles from all the components. So that depends on how many different components are there in your sample. So usually we discuss binary. So they are just expressing A and B, 2 different components. So you can individually find the mole fraction of A and mole fraction of B. And the important point is that the total number of moles, the mole fraction, the sum of the mole fraction of the solute and solvent will be equal to 1. This is also we discussed. So right.
I guess period over.
Yeah, I know. I'll just take 1 minute. That's it. I'll just leave you all. Yes. Yes.
No, what's the name of the symbol?
Chi.
I'm sorry.
Chi.
Okay, ma'am.
But we used to write as
No
X.
spelling?
Because, sorry?
Spelling of chi.
What is the spelling of chi?
K-A-I.
K-A-I.
Okay, it's correct.
And the last 3 things, like 2 more things which I have to express like what you can see can be used to express the concentration is molarity and molality. So with that, I will end up today's session so that we'll discuss more questions based on this from tomorrow onwards. So this is already we discussed in grade 11. That's why I'm moving little fast. We know that molarity is number of moles of solute divided by the solution expressed in liters, and molality is number of moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kilogram. These different you need to know very clearly. So please note it down. Muzamil, you got the spelling of chi? Muzamil? Muzamil, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chi is
Last
actually
something?
Yeah. What is the spelling of chi?
KI?
CHI.
Oh, CHI, okay.
Okay.
Oh no, I left the meeting.
Yeah, I know that you will not wait even for a minute. Yeah.
No, ma'am, Maths ma'am had started the meeting, so I was
Okay,
just
no
seeing what
problem.
is going
Okay,
on.
fine. Thank you. So yeah, we'll discuss it tomorrow then. If the class is already started, then I don't want to keep you here.
No, ma'am, actually it's break, so we were just
Yeah,
wondering that if there's anything extra or it was for like by mistake.
No problem. Fine. I hope you just take a screenshot of this and write it down in your notebook.
Yes, ma'am.
So that
Ma'am,
we
you're
will.
gonna upload this PPT, right?
I have not uploaded it today.
Ma'am, but you will upload, right?
I will.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
Then thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye. Take care.